Prince ring a bell with any of you? Well, it should. He's behind Blackwater. You know, that military contractor group that was over in Iraq in the Middle East that ultimately massacred hundreds of people. But the only one we were able to prove was when they shot 16 Iraqi civilians and 15 more, killing 14 in total. No surprise, Donald Trump pardoned all of them in 2020. Now we're in 2025. Erik Prince just came up with a bid to the federal government saying he could round up 16 million illegal immigrants in the United States by the midterms for $25 billion. Furthermore, in his little battle plan, he proposes that we recruit people from other countries to come over and help us do this. Because him and Trump both know that damn near 70% of the country would never be on board with this. And guess who just landed in the United States last night? The first group of white South Africans claiming to be persecuted of their skin color that are pro-apartheid. No kidding, man. And now we're getting reports that Blackwater camps are being set up in U.S. military bases. This is what you call the actual invasion, folks. It wasn't brown people from Latin America. It's our own government. Does the name Erik Prince ring a bell with any of you?
A new executive order demanding that the United States Attorney General Pam Bondi and U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth work together to find out how we can legally use United States troops on United States soil to arrest United States citizens. This is the big one. This is the moment where we officially become a police state living under a fascist dictator. And you know what's shocking to me? This was signed halfway through the day on Monday. Halfway through the day on Monday. On Tuesday, which I didn't see this till halfway through the day on Tuesday, by the way, this should have been the only news on Tuesday. The only news. But I don't give a shit that Tuesday was his 100th day. Let's take a look at everything. Yeah, that's great. Do a quick analysis and move the hell on. He told the DOJ to work with the Pentagon to find out how we can use U.S. troops on U.S. soil. We have now crossed that threshold. And by the way, he gave him 90 days to come up with a finalized plan. So this isn't something maybe we'll do. He's got a timeline on it because he wants it done, I guess, by midsummer at this point. Let me read you this. The executive order is titled, Strengthening and Unleashing America's Law Enforcement to Pursue Criminals and Protect Innocent Civilians. He issued several directives, including the establishment of a legal defense mechanism for law enforcement officers. A legal defense mechanism, meaning law enforcement officers are going to be given more clearance to do things that are currently illegal, but they're going to become legal. A crackdown on state and local officials who willfully and unlawfully direct the obstruction of criminal law, including by directly and unlawfully prohibiting law enforcement officers from carrying out duties. A crackdown on state and local officials. Let me rephrase that. Politicians. Donald Trump is directing the Department of Justice and the Pentagon to come up with a plan to use the military to arrest politicians. That's not hyperbole. That's not me overstating this. It's literally what it says. I just gave a clearer definition of what those words mean. Donald Trump is going to use the military to arrest politicians that he doesn't like. Now, you can probably derive from this that he's most likely only talking about the issue of immigration, right? Well, let's never forget we're constantly on that slippery slope. So even if he is specifically referring to immigration, which is not mentioned, so, you know, that's a pretty big leap to assume that's all he's talking about, it'll go further from there. Not to mention he's talking about impeding criminal law. Well, guess what? Immigration issues are not criminal law, they are civil. So even by your own definition, you couldn't go after these politicians for having what you call sanctuary cities. But it continues. Section 4 of the executive order. Using national security assets for law and order. Within 90 days of the date of this order, the Attorney General and the Secretary of Defense, in consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, and the heads of agencies as appropriate, shall increase the provision of excess military and national security assets in local jurisdictions to assist state and local law enforcement. Within 90 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of Defense, in coordination with the Attorney General, shall determine how military and national security assets, training, non-lethal capabilities, and personnel can most effectively be utilized to prevent crime. So again, don't assume that this is just talking about undocumented people. They don't even mention the word immigration. They just say crime. They're going to crack down on protesters. They're going to crack down on dissent. They could crack down on the media with the United States military. Let me tell you something. If you're an active duty service member, you're about to have to make the hardest choice of your life. Do you allow yourself to be deployed on U.S. soil? Are you going to be one of the people that history is going to look back on that tells us later on, I was just following orders? Y'all will have to make those choices. Possibly in 90 days. It's right there in black and white. You will be deployed on U.S. soil and you will be asked to arrest, or worse, U.S. citizens.
Is wearing bandanas, hats, and sunglasses instead of uniforms, badges, and showing their faces. It's really simple. Because the church, the government, is about to start deploying their Department of White Supremacists to do martial law and go around doing that to people like you and me. So that on a Tuesday, when your cousin, brother, sister, anyone, coworker is snatched, grabbed, kidnapped, and their rights are stripped, their phones are taken, and no one knows where they went, it's normalized. That's why. This is exactly like World War II and the Holocaust. It's the exact same thing. And if you're not sure about that, all you have to do is take the Project 2025 document and drop it into ChatGPT. Ask it how it affects you. Anyone that goes along with this, I'm sorry, your soul's already caught on fire. Do you know why ICE is wearing bandanas?
Made the mistake of checking the news this morning, and I thought it looked a little bit familiar.
By decree, according to martial law, the following statutes are temporarily amended. Right to assembly, suspended. Right to habeas corpus, suspended. Right to legal counsel, suspended. Right to verdict by a jury of peers, suspended.
Made the mistake of checking the news this morning, and I thought...
Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakak, Wadash. This is your Akim Adrulazil back with another quick lesson. And by the opening clips, you can see what season we in, man. You know, and you can see how it's starting off is that Esau Edom is after what? The northern kingdom. But that doesn't mean the so-called Negroes is safe, man. Cause that's what this devil does. He's clever at his attempts to what? Destroy the children of Israel. But I'm gonna start with Jeremiah 30 and 4. Slakia 5. And it reads, For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. So that's what's going on, man. We hear what's going on, and this is sounds of what? Trembling of fear and not of peace, man. Ask ye now and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his... Salakia, ask ye now and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Whether do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, man. So we're approaching what those times, man. Jacob trouble. You can see by the decrees that through the Spirit, by our elders, who's in leadership now. This guy is putting in the pieces together to what? To attack the children of Israel, even though it seems that he's, attacking the northern kingdom, which the so-called Latinos, Mexicans, There's also words of, these other nations, which they are the nation of Israel, but these other immigrants, I'm going to put it like that, mainly like these, Haitians, Jamaicans, they're being caught up in it too, man, and they're deporting what? Or having detained so-called U.S. citizens, man, just because of a look. You look like you're a Latino, So that's what this devil is. He's clever at his schemes. And like I mentioned earlier, that doesn't mean because he's targeting, the northern kingdom, he's not going to come after you so-called Negroes, man. And he will. Let's go to Ezekiel. $35. Right here. He does it, like I say, he's because it seems that he's attacking the northern kingdom. He has a perpetual hatred for what? All the children of Israel, meaning the southern kingdom also, that consists of you so-called Negroes, I'm going to read the book of Ezekiel 35:5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sitteth thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall, it's like it. Sitteth thou has not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So this is going to be a time, even though it's the time of Jacob's trouble, but everybody, even Esau, it's going to be an all-out, free fall, man, But we're going to get these Edomites because of what? The Lord's blessing going to have the advantage. That's why the Lord is going to allow his chosen men to be blessed with, that spiritual power, man, because it's going to take divine intervention to step in when certain situations, the children of Israel, mainly the elect, will be faced, man. It's going to take divine intervention for us to be, delivered out of those situations to make it to what? The ultimate delivery, which is what? Salvation, man. From the ultimate destruction of this place, man. Read it again. It's the book of Ezekiel 35:5. It says, because thou hast hate, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sitteth thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee, man. So that's what's going to happen in these last coming days, man. As you can see by the decrees, by this current administration is putting the dots together, lining up the pieces, man, because they're prepared to come down with great wrath, because this devil know he has but a short time, man. And like I said, the paintings on the wall, man, you can see it clear as day. It's all over what this devil is preparing for, man. And the Lord said, what? Watch as well as pray. And I'm going to end the lesson off there. Hope the body was edified. Till next time, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash. Again, this is your Akim Adulazil. Lord willing, I'll be back with another lesson. Till next time, Shalom, Barakatham, Baba Shalom.